And we're up.
Alrighty.
So, this is literally every single Pokemon game ever. At least up
Oh,
till
we're
when
doing
this was
this?
made.
Oh boy.
So I don't think this has Gen, I want to say 8 and 9.
So
Yeah.
we're actually doing this? Oh god. Well, prepare for some hot takes.
Yeah, I think this is missing 8 and 9. So,
It looks like it, yeah. Keep in
that's
mind, I've never played some of these games, so we'll see what happens.
there's a lot of them I haven't played. Okay.
And
What
even,
is
okay, thank God there's a tier for never played.
Well, that can go right there because this is a Japanese game and I know neither of us have played it. So,
Hey, Pikachu, I've never played.
hold on. Let's go down this list. Pokemon Art Academy.
Alright. I've never played, so I can't vote on this.
I did. It was okay. It just wasn't. I'll put it here because it was just drawing. It wasn't anything amazing.
I can kind of imagine how it was, but I just never played it. Battle
Pokemon
Revolution.
Battle
Ooh.
Rev. What you thinking?
I put this in. I wasn't the biggest fan of the stadium layout, but I still thought it was a fun time. I put it in good tier.
That's about where I'm thinking. Pokemon Tetra. I can just go ahead and put
This is Pokemon Tretta.
or Tretta. I don't know if I said Tetra.
I've never played that.
Good, I haven't either. One second, let me just get all these that I know we haven't played
I
out
think
the
all
way.
the never played out of the way. Yeah, yeah.
Because there's a lot of Japanese only games. I'm gonna keep red and green
There's a
here.
lot of Japanese games you can easily take out.
Uh,
Why?
because we'll rank it with red and blue because there's no difference really.
That's fair.
This can go there. Are there any of these other ones that you haven't played? I don't know what this is.
I don't know what that is either.
One second.
Probably should check it.
Uh, view page source.
Oh God.
Where is it at? Here it is. It's under inspect. Oh, this is Pokemon Camp. It is what I thought it was.
Oh, I've never played that.
I played Camp. It was actually average. It wasn't that bad. It was a mobile game, which is probably why you've never played it. But it was okay. It wasn't terrible.
That's it. Yeah.
This is the Pokemon Channel app.
Maybe I played like that was for GameCube, right?
I feel like this was where you could just watch Pokemon, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. I never played it.
I'm gonna put it here. Because I thought this was like the iPhone slash Android. Or no, that's Pokemon TV. Yeah, I've never played that. Okay. Coliseum. Amazing.
Yeah, I haven't technically finished yet, but I've done the main game. Such a fun experience.
Conquest is average. Nothing overly fantastic, but it's not terrible by any stretch.
I've never played it, so I can't quote on it. I do want to play it soon, though.
It's okay, but it can be
Gen
boring.
2, specifically Crystal.
Pokemon Crystal was great.
I'd say it's in the good or great tier. Gen 2
Pokemon
is such a
Dash.
fun gen. This I didn't own this, but I played it at a friend's house. That shit was awful. It was so boring and bad.
Never played it. Detective Pikachu. Here's where the hot fucking takes come in. I love Detective Pikachu.
I never played it, but I don't know. So I can't comment on it.
I love
I've heard
Detective
people like
Pikachu.
it though.
So, Diamond and
Isn't
Pearl.
it getting a sequel?
Yes, and I can't fucking wait for it. Diamond and Pearl.
Diamond and Pearl. Here's my issue, right? I love Gen 4, but I specifically like Platinum. Diamond and Pearl's not bad, but for me, I'd probably put it in just the good tier.
I put it in poor.
Damn. Okay.
The games were slow.
Average.
The game was slow. There was like next to no fire or electric types that you really had to choose from. Like, everything seemed to be more centered in post game than the normal actual game wise. The gym leaders sucked in the original Diamond and Pearl. I don't think it was even average. The best thing it had going for it is the fact that it had some nice Pokemon introductions. But other than that, yeah. That's my personal take on it. Basically, comparing it to mainline...
I think it's for the very least average. Good or average for me.
My thing is, and I'll say this, if you look at all the mainline Pokemon games, Diamond and Pearl is like the worst. In my personal opinion. It just is. Mount Cornet's a bitch to get through, which it is in Platinum too, but Platinum sped up the game so it wasn't that bad. But yeah, Diamond and Pearl was slow. Again, really the lack of fire types and electric types really sucked. The gym leaders sucked. The leveling was pretty trash up until the E4. Yeah. It had some cool things.
Cynthia's is how absurdly, well, not really absurd, but like how high it was. It was like level 66 in Diamond and Pearl.
I will say this.
And they trimmed that down.
Aiden died. The dipshit. Diamond and Pearl, for what it was. Okay, you're back. Sweet. Diamond and Pearl, for what it wasn't good. I have to say it. But it's what introduced us basically to Platinum, which is where they made it infinitely better. That's my thing. Is it's like Diamond and Pearl, them in and of themselves, weren't that good. But Platinum was amazing. I don't know. I'll give them average. Just because of the Pokemon it introduced. Yeah. Did you ever play Pokemon Duel?
No, what was it on?
It was, I think it was a mobile game. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Like, it was boring to me. It, like, when it first came out, it was like this hot new thing for all of 3 days and then died.
That's kind of how mobile games are, though.
Well, not with one of them that we're about to get to.
Well, fair.
I refuse to hear anything else. Emerald's amazing. Next.
Yeah, Gen 3 was good. I haven't played through at least the OG Gen 3 that much, but from what I've been playing through in Emerald, it's fine. It's pretty good.
Oh, here's another one that we've never played. Okay, good. Fire Red and Leaf Green.
I would say these are like, I would say this is either average or good, because like, I would say good because like it basically fixed Gen 1 or the original Gen 1, because like you can like Gen 1, you can be a Gen 1er, but objectively Gen 1 was buggy. It had a bunch of problems with it. Sure, it was the first in the series, but still, it had some problems. And I think the remake definitely made it a lot better.
I also agree with good. I like that it added the trio or the islands into it. I thought that was a nice touch. So yeah, I'm down to put it in good. It really did refix Gen 1. Speaking of early generations, Generation 2.
Gold and silver. I have more, well, again, didn't really own these games, but I have fond memories of the remakes. But I know a lot of people say that the original Gen 2 was not that good, but I think it at least deserves average or good tier. I thought it was still good,
I think
but
it's
Crystal's
good, but
definitely
Crystal
superior.
improved it. Yeah. Here's the reason why
Yeah,
they weren't fantastic, and I think that has to solely do with physical special split and just some of the mons they added. But I digress.
and just the leveling system in general in Gen 2 just really did bring it down a peg.
Pokemon Go. I don't.
Pokemon Go is
I
it's a
have.
fine, it's an alright game. It's just I haven't played it that much recently, and I didn't play it much when I owned it.
Here's my thing. I have to give it grade. It is so popular by everyone else that I can't not give it great. I liked it
I would
on
say
and
it's
off.
popular. I can't say it doesn't work because it does. It's just not my thing.
It was an on and off game for me. I'd play it for like a solid 3 to 4 months, and then I quit it for like a year. Play it for another 3 or 4 months, quit it for another year. But overall, with how popular it is and the fact that it's still fucking going for a mobile game, I have to give it its props.
Yeah, so you have to give it some sort of props.
Hey, you Pikachu. I never played, and
I
I
never
know
played
Aiden
it.
never played it. So, Heart Gold and Soul Silver,
Here
the
we
best.
go.
Fucking refuse to hear
Hell
anything
yeah.
else.
Hell yeah. I was gonna say, I'll
Next,
start for amazing, but the best is great.
next.
Okay, and now
I said it.
yeah, I was gonna say there's gonna be some hot takes here. Now, if we were basing the games based on how they looked, I would say Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are the best looking Pokemon games ever. They look great. But I did not like they added the go mechanic into this game. I thought it was pointless. I thought it was an extra step in catching Mons, and it just
I'm gonna
didn't feel
change
that
this a
fun
bit.
to do.
I'm putting it in poor for one very specific reason. Actually, two reasons. One, it gave us
But
the overworld shinies that we could see in the overworld. And two, it gave us Pokemon following us back. For those two
there were
mechanics,
other good things aside from the visuals. Yeah.
I'll put it in poor instead of bad.
So
Pokemon
yeah,
Link
I think the
Battle.
visuals definitely bring it up. But I think with those things and the visuals, I think it definitely keeps it away from being bad or really bad.
That's fair. Pokemon Link Battle. Did you ever play this?
No, I played Pokemon Shuffle on the 3DS, but that's pretty much it for these
This
kinds of games.
this was basically the early version, kind of Cafe Remix,
Oh,
but it was actually on the games. But believe it or not, it was actually average. It wasn't terrible in my opinion.
that's fair.
Like it again, it's like Cafe Remix, but there wasn't the whole pay to win system shit.
Hmm.
Magikarp jump, fucking amazing.
Is that another mobile game?
Yes. I'm trolling a little bit.
Is it
I'd
like one
put
of
it
those
in
fucking
average.
like old Flash games like Toss the Turtle or some shit like that?
Basically, what you would do, right, is you would fish and get a Magikarp, right? And the Magikarps actually had unique patterns, and you could even get a shiny one.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to do some, like, you'd have them jump and see how high you could get them to go, basically. Very interesting game.
And
I
were you able to
personally
like
liked it, though.
upgrade them to like make them like jump higher?
Slightly, and then you get to a point where you'd max it, and you'd have to go get another Magikarp that's even better. But I thought it was interesting. It kept my
Okay,
attention for like a week straight, so it's
that's
fine.
fair. And
Or
now the Gen
as
3 remake. Yeah.
I refuse to hear anything else. Picross, did you play this?
Cross. No, I've seen it before, but I never played it.
Sweet,
But yeah,
never
the
have
Gen 3
either.
remakes. Yeah, the Gen 3 remakes. Again, for me personally, again, again, no hate against Gen 3. It's just for me, I felt like it was too easy with all the megas I was able to get at the end. But overall, I thought they when they redid the region for Gen 3, into the Gen 6 engine. It looked great. I had a great time playing through the games. Honestly, the remakes probably aside from one of the ones we'll get to eventually, the remakes definitely make the original version of those generations not necessarily obsolete, but definitely improve on a lot of things for the original versions of those gens.
Yes, some of my personal favorite games. Pokemon Pinball.
Oh yeah, I know you like this one.
The
I've
Gen
never
3
played.
ones. Gen 3 one was great, this one was good. I love Pokemon Pinball. That you
And here
could
comes
play that.
Platinum, and if you,
Hold
yeah,
on,
I never played
before we
either
get
one.
there, I will say this: these games kept my attention. Like in terms of straight days, I played this one specifically, the Gen 3 one, for 3 whole days straight without sleeping. I
Those two games
fucking
seem
love.
like junk. Like, and this is not to say junk food games are bad, but these seem like junk food games you play like on a road trip. I could see you playing these on like a quick like road trip, like 30 minutes down the road or
Believe it
something.
or not, when I was a kid, it was the opposite way around. I would play the main series games on road trips, and this is what I'd play regularly at home.
Really?
Yeah. So like every time we go on a road trip, if there was a new Pokemon game at, Mom, I want to get the new Pokemon game before we go. Okay, and we get the games, and I played on the road trip, beat it by the time we got to where we were going. But these games, when they were out, were what I would play when I was sitting at home in my room.
Right.
Now, Platinum, we can just up there
I didn't
next.
say if you don't put it in where it should be, if you don't put it in the best, yeah,
I'm about to say, there's no debating. Platinum took
yeah,
these games and amplified them
yeah. Like
so
literally,
much.
I've said this before. My list is the like first like the Gen 5 games because like obviously I'm a big Gen 5 stan, but if Gen 5 didn't exist, like it went Black and White 1, 2, and then Platinum. Like Platinum is goaded.
Anyway, next game is this Explorers of Sky? Yes. Mystery Dungeons Explorers of
Yeah, it
Sky.
is. I can't comment on any of them aside from Gates to Infinity, and I can't really comment on Red Rescue Team all that much because like I haven't played through all of it yet. I've only played through a little bit.
Sky was good. I like Sky. What is this one?
I think those are the versions of Explorers of. I think those are. People said those Explorers of Sky was like how Emerald is for those games. I think there are two other Explorers games, and then Explorers of Sky is the better
Okay,
version.
these are
I
the
think.
Explorers games.
Yeah, I didn't say because there's Explorers of Sky. I think also
Time and Darkness.
Time,
Time and
and there's something
Darkness.
else.
I'll
Time
be
and Darkness.
honest,
That's it. Yeah,
I
Time,
like
Darkness,
Time
and
and
Sky.
Darkness more than I like Sky.
Really?
Hot take, I know, but my personal opinion.
I always hear people say that Sky is again, it's like the Emerald of those two. Like it
It
did
is.
everything better.
But my thing is I love just the name Explorers of Darkness so much as a kid. I
I didn't say was it
never
like a
bothered.
title thing with like childhood bias.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's fair.
The fuck is this?
Gates to Infinity. Yeah, that was one of the 3DS Mystery Dungeon games.
Oh, it's that one?
That was the one I specifically played, which was the worst one that people told
There
me
you
about.
go.
Yep,
Next.
yep, yep.
Uh,
It was so fucking boring,
Blue
man.
Rescue. These were average games. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and
For me,
give.
they definitely felt like the first. Yeah, I was gonna say before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I'll say for when like I like for the first playthrough of it, like just playing through for a couple of hours. Red Rescue Team was fine. It definitely felt like it was the first in the series though. So
Yeah,
while not bad, it wasn't great.
that's why
Like
it gets
average
the
work.
baseline.
And yeah, Poke Park is in best tier. You can fight us on that. We don't give a fuck. It is childhood bias. We
Oh,
know the games are
absolutely.
bad, but it's our childhood bias. Like I think objectively, I'd probably put them in average or good.
I'm about to say,
Fuck that
objectively,
childhood
they're in
bias.
good
It's
tier.
the best.
Objectively, they're in good tier, but this is our list, and they're fucking at best. Okay,
Yeah.
Pokken.
Now on to Pokken.
Any thoughts on Pokken?
Pokken Pokken Tournament. I didn't hate when I played it. I thought it was an interesting take on the on what I formula. I
Yep.
thought it was okay. It wasn't all that like mind-boggling. It was all right for being a fighter. So I'll go with average.
See, my thought is it's good. You want to know why the game isn't up here with Emerald?
Bye.
Because it was on the fucking Wii U.
I mean, they have a Switch version.
Do they?
Yeah,
I've
Pokemon Tournament DX.
I've never known it to be on
Look
Switch.
it up right
I might
now.
have to try it.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Hi, Craig.
I was gonna say I knew they made a Switch version. I didn't play it. I did play the
I
Wii U
didn't
version.
know they made a Switch version. The fucking Wii U version is why this isn't good. Anyway. Oh, what is this? Puzzle
That
challenge.
Puzzle League was from Pokemon Stadium, I think. Not Pokemon Stadium. It was from the N64.
Puzzle challenge. I don't think you ever played it.
I haven't played either of the puzzle games. I just know Puzzle League is from N64.
Did you play Quest?
No, I've seen it.
Good
I've
to
never
know.
played it.
Oh, which Rangers is
Oh,
this?
are these the Ranger games next?
Yes, but I can't tell
Oh,
which
I
one
can't
this
see.
is.
I know the third one that's there.
This
going from
first
I know
one's
the
Guardian
third one's
Signs.
The first game.
Yeah, this is Guardian Signs.
Oh, okay.
I love Guardian Signs. Easily the best one.
I didn't play. I only played Shadows of Almia. For me, I only played Shadows of Almia.
Which is this one actually, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
No.
It goes Guardian Sky. It goes Sky Guardian, Shadows of Almia, and then Ranger in that order. That's what's showing.
Okay, sweet. I never played this one.
I can see the subtitle underneath.
I can't.
It was really great. I enjoyed it a lot.
I'll happily put it in great.
I can't comment if it's better than Sky Guardians, but it was really fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time with it.
Sky Guardians?
I never played Sky Guardians, but I played Shadows of Almia.
There is no such thing as Sky Guardians.
Or wait, I'm confused. What was
Guardian Signs?
What were the three?
Guardian
Signs. I'm a fucking idiot. I meant.
You dumbass.
Sky and Guardian Signs.
Dude, Guardian Signs was easily the best one.
I
never played this one,
I only played Shadows.
The regular Rangers game was average. This was the best one. I refuse to take anything else. Okay. Hot take time, everybody. I said it. They're average.
Yeah.
They're the baseline.
Yeah. It's the first in the game. It's the first in the series, man.
We
can't really say much else about it.
I will say that for their time, they were revolutionary.
I was gonna say that's always it's like it's definitely revolutionary for the time, but like comparing to everything else that came after, it's no contest.
Not even that. If you just look back on it and take away your nostalgia glasses for a moment, you can see all the bugs and the issues in it. They didn't even get their typing system right in it. There were bugs in it.
You didn't need to do anything crazy. Yeah, you didn't even need to do anything crazy to get missing notes. Just surf up and down against fucking Cinnamon Island, and then boom, you got them.
You did have to do.
And then Psychic was overpowered. Bug and Poison was super effective on each other. Like Jesus. All right, original Gen 3.
Good or great? I refuse to hear anything lower or higher.
I haven't played again. I haven't played Ruby Sapphire. So this is on you.
Good to know. I'm putting them in great. They were fantastic games for their time.
I was gonna say I assume they're
just
like
better.
I assume they're just like Emerald, but a little less, so it makes sense.
Is this Rumble Blast?
Oh my god, the fucking Rumble games. Yep, that's Rumble Blast.
I've never played any of these, so.
I unfortunately played them. They're not horrible. They're a lot better than Pokemon Dash, that's for sure. But they're not really all that great. I'd say they're either bad or poor.
Sweet.
They're just kind of there.
Shoving all of them in here then.
Yeah, they all really. The one on the Wii though was kind of fun, but yeah, they're all kind of in the bad tier. They're not great, but they're not like extremely awful.
Pokemon
they're just time wasters,
Shuffle.
but not good time wasters. This was what I played on the 3DS.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good
average.
puzzle game, but it wasn't like overly great. It was average.
Yep. Pokemon Snap, let's give it its rightful place in amazing.
I didn't say it. I never played it, but I know a lot of people enjoyed it,
I
so
mean, that's why it got
I'm
a
fine with it
remake,
being
because
there.
everyone loved it, so.
I didn't say yeah, it got a remake, so it had to be good.
Stadium 1 and 2 can just go right the fuck here, too.
I didn't say again, haven't played them, but heard they were great. So if they're
Love
anything like
Stadium.
that, well, I technically played Battle Revolution, so again, if they were like that, then that's valid.
They were like that, but a lot more complex. I liked it. Sun and Moon. Here's where
Fair.
me and Aiden differ.
Really? Where do you plan on putting it?
These are the regular ones.
You think it's great?
Good.
Okay. Honestly, that's fine. I was gonna say average, but yeah, I'll take good. Like again, my thing, and I've said this loads of times. My main thing, aside from for this game specifically, because cutscenes are so damn long.
Cutscenes were stupid. But...
Yeah, I was gonna say. Aside from that, I don't hate the modern ones like 6, 7, and 8. I don't hate their games. It's just for me, they felt like they were all missed potential like games, at least in my opinion. But as a core Pokemon games, they're not bad. They're fine. So Sun and Moon, I'm fine with being in good tier.
I liked the fact that they went away from the gym leader formula. I thought it was nice.
Yeah, it was definitely a nice change of pace. But then you got the Z crystals and the whole boy.
Z crystals tried to be something that
Honestly,
megas weren't, and it failed because megas were
keep
just
going.
so popular. If megas weren't as popular,
Yeah.
I don't think we'd
Honestly,
have a
they're
big
just as
problem.
bad. Yeah, I'd say in terms of gimmicks that they've added into Pokemon games, this alongside triple and rotation battles in Gen 5 are like the worst gimmicks, I'll be
I'm
honest.
sorry, D Max and G Max, my personal opinions for the worst.
I didn't
Well,
overly hate those compared to the others, but that's valid.
I didn't like them for a very easy reason of like you're just turning Pokemon big. Like who cares?
I don't say
Like the G
if they did
Max.
just G Maxing, that would have been fine, but
Yeah, no, it was the
Dynamaxing
D
wasn't really all that
Maxing that killed
thing.
it. It's like, oh, Pokemon become big now. Who cares? No
I was
one.
gonna say the Gmax. I would say for me, the only reason that Gmax gets slightly saved is because some of the Gmax forms are pretty sick.
Yeah, G Maxes
The
were
Z
great.
crystals, like the ones that are like specific for some Pokemon, didn't do much for me. It's just like, oh, it's still just a powerful ass move, and that's it.
I will say there are some of them that were specific that I specifically loved. Ash Hat Pikachu, Lycanrocs, and Mimikyus. I love those three.
But that's
Specific.
my point, though. There were so many more that I completely forget about. I know
Snorlax
there are
had
more
one that
exclusive
was
ones,
funny.
and I don't know.
Snorlax had one.
I never knew he had one.
Yeah, it
Like
was like
literally,
the first
aside from
one
the three you
ever
mentioned
shown.
earlier and the starters, I don't know any other specific Z moves.
It was the
That's
first
how
one
that's how
shown.
forgettable they are for me.
It was Pulverizing Pancake. That shit was funny as hell to see Snorlax wake up, fucking run full speed, and jump on a motherfucker. That shit was
Yeah, I
funny.
don't remember that one at all.
Real? Okay, hold up. Hold up, guys.
You're just like, I'm gonna show you greatness right here.
You can see the screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Magikarp splashed. No one cares.
It's not a Snorlax. The fucking anime eyes just go. This is literally Snorlax's version of Breakneck Blitz. Okay, that was good.
I told
like
you.
that.
Some of them, I didn't mean to do that. Some of them were great. I like
That's
Primarina's and
good.
the rest of them as well. I think Primarina had the best one out of the starters.
But that's the thing. Like that's the thing though. It's the signature Z moves, while fine, they were still imbalanced as fuck.
Well, I mean, Megas weren't balanced either. That's why you have things like Mega Blaziken, Mega Mawile, and Mega Lucario and Ubers. None of that shit was balanced. But that's
That's the
what.
thing. They weren't balanced either. But I feel like Z moves were handled a lot worse, in my opinion.
I mean, they weren't as good. Don't get me wrong. They weren't as good, but they weren't terrible. Anyway, on to the Super Mystery Dungeon. Have you played it? I know I haven't.
I haven't. I knew it was the other 3DS one, but I didn't do it.
Oh.
Because again, Gates to Infinity just made me not want to play any other Mystery Dungeon game.
Sword and Shield.
This one's tricky for me.
Oh, I can't wait for my hot take.
I would say with the DLC, they're good, but on their own, I would say they're average. Sorry, that's just how it is. But the overall full package that you get with the DLC, I think is fine. I think it's
even
good.
with DLC, they're
But without
average.
it, it's average.
Even with DLC, I think they're average. Like without DLC, I think they're poor. It was okay throughout all the Pokemon games up to Sun and Moon. I never felt like it was a job to have to finish the game, except Sword and Shield. It literally felt like it was a job, like a 9 to 5 that I had to go in and fucking do.
I will say the one thing that drags it down a lot is it's not technically their evil leader, but the main bad guy at the end is so fucking lame. It's just Chairman Rose. Like, he wasn't developed at all. He
Aiden,
wasn't a good
spoilers.
baddie. Like, he was just shit. Bro, shut up. This is fucking, like, 4-year-old game now. Fuck up, bitch.
Look, I'm gonna tell you my
if you're
biggest
watching
problems.
Pokemon, you still haven't played Gen 8, get the hell out of here.
So, JJ's gonna explain why he thinks these shits are poor. Number one, the evil team originally being Yell was a cool concept, and honestly, very well executed. The issue came that they made a second evil team that was fucking rushed at the end of the game and was bullshit. Next off, throughout almost the whole game, there was no goddamn story at all. Zero, zilch, nada, nothing. Except when it came to the very end where they bum rushed the dogs in Eternatus. That's about it. Now, granted, it had some of the best gym leaders of all time, in my opinion. B. Alistair, Gordy, Melanie, Raihan. A lot of the gym leaders were fantastic. The story wasn't there. And the game just felt like a drag.
It felt very poor and felt underdeveloped. Like
underdeveloped and
again,
rushed.
like I said, story. Yeah, and I'm gonna just add a little bit more light on it. Something again, the reason I say untapped potential or missed potential is for Gen 6 through 8 is specifically because of the story. The stories on paper for all of them, I think, are amazing, but in execution, they all kind of fell flat for me. I think if Gen 8, when Sonya did her fucking exposition dump all the time, if they showed like images along with that, or like did what they did similarly in Gen 6 with when AZ was talking about the Pokemon War, and they showed that giant like scripture showing all those Pokemon in that image fighting. Sure, it was a still image, but you could still imagine it as like an actual war going out between Pokemon. That would have been great to see alongside her explaining stuff. I feel like that would have made it better.
So, I will say something on Aiden's thing of stories not being developed. I think Gen 7 actually did develop their stories quite well.
They did, it's just the cutscenes felt really boring.
The cutscenes killed them. But you can't say they had bad light story development. Gen 6 and Gen 8 definitely did, though. And I will say 7 Part 2 actually helped a bit with the cutscene shit, so.
I don't say. I feel like the Ultra games might have been better with the story. Again, I never played those
They
ones,
expanded
so I
on
can't
the story,
comment on that part.
but we'll get to those when we get to
Okay.
them.
Yeah, I was gonna say of the three modern games, I would say Gen 7 did better story execution than the others. But I think best story overall on paper, I think Gen 6.
Pokemon trading card game on the Game Boy Color. Now,
I never
Aiden's
played it,
never
so this is
played
all you.
this. This shit was good. I like this shit.
I was gonna say I knew you were gonna be happy when you talked about them bringing it to the Switch.
I like that shit. It was fun for what it was. It was something you could sit down, play for a couple hours, and get some enjoyment out of it. Up next, Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. Aiden, have you ever played it?
This was on PC.
Yes, this is the actual trading card game where you'd scan your cards in and.
I have I have a vague memory of it, but not too much, not enough to comment on. So I'll just say never played.
Trozzy.
I never played.
I like Trozzy. Trozzy was good.
What was it?
It was more of a Pokemon matching game, basically.
Oh, so like Shuffle. That's fine
Kind
then.
of. If I recall correctly. What is this? Typing Adventure?
Pokemon
That's the new
Typing
thing.
Adventure?
Or somewhat
Never
new thing.
played.
Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon
Yeah, the Ultras.
were actually amazing.
Really?
They made shiny
Higher
hunting.
than Gen 3 and 2?
They made shiny hunting easier. They had a decent story. The cutscenes weren't unbearable, and they had the hardest Pokemon fight of all time.
That's true.
As well as this is where you really got the more specific Z moves, which was nice.
That's fair. Here we go.
Just
Yep.
Not even a question.
Yep. It's biased as fuck, but I don't care.
It's
Those
not
games
even
were
biased.
great.
I
know they have some problems, but it's still great.
I can give you guys reasons as to why they're probably the best mainline game. Period. So let's start with the fact of issues with the other mainline games that have also been put in best. Platinum still has a lack of electric and fire mods. They did add a couple, but it's still a lack. And Mount Coronet is still a drag. They lowered the typings for like Cynthia and stuff, which made the fights less hard.
Those are lowered the levels.
Yeah. Now, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire made a little bit easier. Honestly, the megas were cool, but they didn't give too much to the story till post game.
There wasn't enough substance. Yeah, till post.
So there's that, and then there's also just the sheer amount of surfing and stuff that you had to do, just like in regular Gen 3, which drags it down a little bit. Now we get to Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Original Gen 2, it's the remakes have the same problem. They have a really bad leveling system.
Yep. Now,
they did try to do modifying it here and there with some of the gym leader fights, with mostly being the Kanto gym leader fights, but it wasn't much.
Now, let me tell you guys about Black and White. Black and White had the same issue, fucking leveling problem, everywhere through. Seems like that was fucking their biggest issues, leveling problems.
And apparently, I didn't notice when I was a kid, and I still don't even notice it sometimes now, unless like I look really closely. They changed their EXP share system in that game compared to every other Pokemon game before it, which a lot of people complained about. And then in terms of like gimmicks, like I already said, the triple battles and rotation battles, like even I consider those were pretty bad.
I will say though, they never like really showed off that gimmick besides like one time. They never really
didn't show it off much, It's kind of like how Gentry did Double Battles. They wanted to show it off, but they wanted to also play it safe a
Yeah.
good bit.
But overall, like, the
Yeah,
stories,
it wasn't all that good.
fantastic. Their music, god tier.
Oh, yeah,
Their
story was
anime
great.
music,
Music,
specifically, god
goated.
tier. Gym leaders, good.
Yeah.
E4, good. Champions, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Evil team, the
And
best
the
there ever
visuals, man.
is.
Oh my god, the visuals. Like on the DS for being the last few games made for the damn thing, so good.
So, yeah, overall, they have the same leveling problem as most of everything else, but I'd say they have better story than everything else up here. I said it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
X and Y.
Damn, we got through
Uh,
this really fast.
yes, we did actually.
X and Y, X and Y, X and Y. Hmm. Again, I gotta say either average or good tier.
Okay, guys, here's JJ's hot take. I think they're poor.
Where are you putting it?
I said it. I think they're
Really?
poor. Something you mentioned, the story letdown of the games was ass. Shit was terrible.
Yeah.
Where the
It
finals
wasn't
thing was
engaging
gonna
anymore.
take place was easily telegraphed. Um, so you could
Yeah.
very easily predict the story in terms of
You know
where
what
it
the
was
worst
ending.
part is? Lysander for me could have been a great evil team leader. And you know what his final fight consists of? 4 Pokemon.
That
4 as
honestly,
his final fight against them.
I mean, that's terrible, but like, let's be honest here. Probably the worst thing about the games was how many Pokemon they added relative to how big this fucking region was.
So that's it.
They
Yeah,
added
isn't
like
Gen 6 like
68
the
mons.
lowest amount of mons added?
Roughly, they
Yeah.
added 68 mons roughly. Like, bro. That, they added a new type and we got Sylveon. It gave us some fantastic mons. So the mons they did add were typically pretty good. But there just wasn't
Yeah.
enough mons. There just wasn't. The
I
storytelling
would say
fell
if anything,
flat.
maybe compromise with average tier, but that's fair.
We got nothing with Zygarde, which pisses me off. Literally nothing.
Yeah.
Um,
And that fucking weird ass Hex Maniac that was like say like, oh, you're not the one or some bullshit like
they
that.
do
Like,
that in all the games though. They always have a Hex Maniac that's not just exclusive to that game.
really?
Yeah, they've done it in
I've only seen
Black
that
and
just
White. They did it in Black and White too. It just wasn't as prevalent.
what? When in black and white?
They had it was rather
I
Black and
don't
White or
remember
Black
that
2
at
White
all.
2 where there was a Hex Maniac chilling somewhere. Um, but just the games fell flat in terms of storytelling. Their music was meh, in my opinion. Uh, the Pokemon they
I would say the
added,
one like good track, at least to me, was the Pokeball Factory.
that was good. I'll give you that.
That was a really good track.
But one track doesn't
Yeah,
make up for a
but
whole game.
but I do understand where you're coming from. For me, that's like one of the only few memorable tracks.
Now let's talk
Aside
about
from like Champion Diantha, Champion
now.
Diantha had a really good track.
Hers was okay if I recall correctly. Now, guys, I'm about to bring up something else.
I would say I'll listen to it again because it was good. Not as Iris's Black Sea White Sea, but still good.
Let's talk rivals. Would you guys rather have Hugh, who's like a friend betraying, has a story as to why he's going on this adventure? Sharon and Bianca, who are your friends, but have
rivals that all have one note and nothing else to them. Or 4, sorry.
oh, we'll get there. Would you rather have Sharon and Bianca, who are very contrasting personalities, but want to achieve their goals of, being better and making a difference? Would you rather, well, I can't say them. Even moving on to Gen 7, right? Would you rather have a guy whose sole goal is to be better than get out of the shadow of the person who precedes him? Or would you rather have
just wanted to be better
4
than his grandfather.
of the most boring, dragged on, no good rivals to ever exist, where I would say
I was gonna
only
say
half of them
if
are
you want to
decent.
say some of the Pokemon rivals, yeah, I was gonna say if you want to say some of the Pokemon rivals are like cardboard cutouts, the best example of those are the Gen 6 rivals.
I would argue the only two good ones are Shauna and Tierna. Trevor's ass, and the opposite gender counterpart to you is ass. I said it. Fight me. Now, let's go on to gym leaders. Guys, how many of those gym leaders were even halfway decent? I can give you a correct answer. There was like 3 or 4 at most.
I would say for me only Karina, Clement, and Valerie.
I'd throw Olympia in there. That's my
my
fourth one.
3.
Other than that, the
You
rest
throw
of them
who
are
else?
dog shit. Olympia, the psychic one.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, her gym puzzle was pretty fun.
Other than
So I'll
that, the
give you
rest of them
that.
were dog shit. I said it.
Yeah, and Clement, honestly, again, I thought his gym puzzle in his fight was cool, but he's bumped up a lot more for me because of the anime.
Yeah.
His involvement in the anime, I thought was so good.
I mean, that's fine. And the games were so easy because you get given one of the best Mega Pokemon in the existence, being Lucario.
Yeah, Mega Lucario. Power Up Punch, you swept everything with that.
Power
at
Up
that point.
Punch, Close Combat, whether Metal Claw, Iron Head, or some mix in between. And then another. It was
You got that at the 3rd gym mark of the game.
after the 3rd gym. But yeah. As I said,
you get what I mean? Like around the time when you get the 3rd gym badge.
so yes, that's my reason for thinking Gen 6 is poor. There's so many factors of them that are bad.
I think they can be average, but that's fair.
Pokemon XD, you can go right in amazing. Next.
I would say if it's just the same thing as Coliseum, I would say it's amazing.
It's Coliseum, but better, so.
Fair.
I would say this is a bit higher than Coliseum, but it's still great. Pokemon Yellow.
It's like close to the best here for you.
Pokemon Yellow is what I would put.
I meant for XD, but yeah, for
yeah.
Yellow.
I'm putting
again,
Yellow in good.
like a lot of the other 3rd games, it's kind of just like slightly better version of the predecessor.
You know why Yellow's
but that's
better?
not saying much because it's Gen 1.
Well, you know why Yellow's better? Number 1, there weren't as many bugs. Number 2, you could get all 3 starter Pokemon in Yellow.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Pikachu was also hard to find in the original games. And at Yellow, you get him as your starter.
Mm-hmm. And then they had like the anime cameo with the fact they had James and Jesse in that.
Yeah, Yellow was just better. But it was still a Gen 1 game. It still had its bugs. So yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to have Aiden do another tier list with me here since this stream was very quick. Are you ready, Aiden?
How much longer is it going to be?
Well, we've only been going for 50 minutes, and this one should be pretty short.
Well, that's my point. What is it?
Pokemon type tier list.
It's gonna be really weird to rate.
Not quite. So we're starting with Bug. As a type, what's Bug weak to? Flying and fire and rock.
Flying, fire, rock.
That's it.
That's it, yeah.
3 weaknesses. It's super effective to psychic and grass.
Dark and grass.
And dark, yeah.
Psychic, dark, and grass.
So, I mean, it goes 3 for 3. If you have a good bug type, they are kind of great. I'm going to throw it in B tier. Just middle of the pack. Goes 3 for 3. Not super bad. Electric type.
It's like the average.
Pretty much.
Typing.
Electric type. Weak to ground only. Super effective against flying, water.
And water. And that's it.
Honestly,
resistant to steel.
yeah. The resist don't matter that much. I think electric's an A tier. Typing. Always great
I would say there's a lot of good
offensively.
electric ones from that game.
Good
Yeah, and good
offensive.
offense.
Good defense. Great with
Most of the
Thunder
time,
Wave.
very speedy.
Thunder Wave's
That's
a
true.
bitch. Fire type.
Thunderwave is like one of the best statuses. Like
That's
getting
true.
paralyzed in general is like one of the best stats ailments to hit somebody with.
Yeah, that or burn. Or poison.
I would
I
say,
don't know. All of them are good in their
I
own
would
right.
say
Depends on what you're fighting. But
obviously, but I'm saying like in terms of like crippling your opponent, Thunderwave is like one of the paralyzing is like one of the best because their speed gets cut dramatically, and there's a and there's always that chance where they'll just get straight up paralyzed and they can't do anything.
up next is fire type. Weak to ground, rock, and water. Or, yeah, weak to ground, rock,
Yeah,
water.
weak to ground, rock, and water.
And
Super
super
effective
effective
against
with
grass,
grass, steel,
bug,
ice,
ice,
and bug. Yeah.
steel.
So I think it's also another A tier type. Great offense, not too great
Yeah,
defensively though, surprisingly, because those are some of the more
no,
common typings you find. So
that's it. The only like beefy fire type I can think of is Torkoal, but they're high offensive mons,
yeah, grass type weak
whether
to
especially or physically.
grass types weak to
They're weak to a
four,
lot of things. They're weak to ice. They're
five
weak to
actually,
ice, flying, poison, bug,
and
fire,
fire. And they're only super effective against what? Water, ground, and rock.
water, ground, and rock. Yeah. Wait, hold on. They're super. Hold on. Grass is weak to fire, flying, ice, poison, bug. Are they weak to something else that I'm
Nope.
not remembering?
Nope. That's it.
Okay. I thought they were.
I'm gonna
And
put
then they
them in C
resist
tier.
electric, and that's kind of it, really, aside from grass and water.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Are
put
they
them.
resistant to ground? I think they might have.
I think it's neutral. I don't know.
I want to say yeah.
Either way,
No,
it's
no,
a
it
C
is
tier
because I
type.
remember I wanted to create Dilly and it resisted it.
That's funny how we were trying to use credibility to justify it, and I just couldn't remember. I think it's a C tier type.
Yeah,
Grass types are always standard, but like it has so many weaknesses.
yeah.
It works best
It
when
doesn't
you
have
pair it with
enough
something
strength to
else.
back it up.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say it works
it's a
best
lot
when you
better with
pair
the
it with
dual
something.
typing.
Yeah. Normal
Mm-hmm.
type, the epitome of average, B tier.
I think the epitome of average. Yeah. Only weak to fighting, has immunity to ghost, which is great, but it doesn't have anything that it's strong against.
And Ghost is immune to it as well. So
Yeah.
Rock. Rock is weak to water, grass, fighting, steel,
Ground,
and ground. Yeah, and it's super effective against what? Fire, ice,
ice,
flying,
flying, ice, fire, flying,
and bug,
bug,
and that's it.
and that's it. Yeah.
I'm gonna move it to B tier. I think it's a B tier type. Great defensively, in all honesty, even though it has some major
Say
weaknesses.
if you're trying to get a bulky mon, rock types are your go-tos.
No, I wouldn't say that. We'll get there.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm looking at the other one that you could say, but I'm saying like most of them, most rock types are really good defensively.
Dark types, weak to bug and fighting and fairy. Bug fighting fairy.
As a bug, fighting, and fairy, they're super effective against only psychic and ghost though.
I I hate to do this, but Dark's a C tier type.
Yeah,
Because no
they're
offense,
great mons that dark types inhabit, but in terms of viability or liability, they're not the best.
well, they do everything Ghost type does. Ghost is also super effective against Psychic and Ghost itself.
I would say it literally, yeah.
And it has more weaknesses because Ghost is only weak to technically two things, being Dark and Ghost itself. And
I'd
so
say
it
it's
has
only
an
weak to
extra one.
itself and dark types.
So I would argue Ghost type's better.
Yeah,
Fairy type, S tier. No debate.
Really?
It's immune to dragon and super effective to it. Super effective against fighting.
Yeah, it's immune to dragon.
Super
The only
effective
thing
against dark.
that can hit it hard is poison and steel. Yeah, super effective against dark, fighting, dragon.
Yeah, those
I think
are
that's it.
But the issue is those may, or at least part of those, comprise the most used offensive Pokemon outright.
Yeah. My one complaint about Fairy, and this isn't really its typing itself, it's more so Game Freak. Combine Fairy with more typings, please.
Up next is Flying type, weak to ground, or not ground, rock, and ice, and electric.
It's immune to that.
Yeah, it's like a swapping thing.
It's resistant to grass, bug, and fighting.
Yeah.
It's super effective against bug, fighting,
and grass.
Grass, and that's it. It's also weak to electric.
It's a neutral. It's 3 and 3, just like bug. It's another neutral typing.
Yeah.
Ground types are an A tier.
I mean, we can't even say it works. We can't even say it works better technically as a dual typing because, like, aside from three mons that are pure flying, its dual type are really everything else. But that's kind of where it shines, though.
Yeah, especially with things like Corviknight, steel flying.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Ground types are A tier. I mean, only weak to what?
Valid.
Grass, ice, water.
Grass, ice, water.
Super effective against fire, rock,
immune
steel.
to electricity outright. Super effective against fire, rock, and steel, yeah.
And poison.
And poison.
Some of the best typings and most used typings in the game. Yeah, it's great. And it's immune to electric, because it comes with the built-in immunity. It's fantastic. Oh, and
yeah, it's really good.
I'm actually going to move Dark up to B tier. Because we forgot about Dark's immunity to psychic types.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So I'll give Dark B tier. Up next is Poison type. Only weak to ground and psychic. Super effective against...
That ain't bad.
Grass and fairy.
But it's only super effective against grass and fairy, though. I was going to say, it balances it out, though.
But it has no immunities either. And ground and psychic kind of make up some of the most offensive mons in the game.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm gonna give it a C tier.
Yeah.
Because the most offensive mons in the game.
It balances what it has, but in terms of what it can deal with, it can't do much. And it also doesn't work against steel types.
Speaking of steel types,
so that's a problem.
S tier. Best defensive type in the game.
Yeah.
Only weak to what? Ground, fire,
really
fighting?
Weak to ground, fire, and fighting, yeah.
Super effective fairy,
against
rock,
ice, fairy.
And then resist almost everything else. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it literally resists rock. It resists rock, normal, fairy, grass. It's immune to poison, dragon, psychic, ice. Like, it's immune to almost every typing.
Speaking of another S tier typing,
not immune. It resists almost every typing that's not strong against it.
Hey, B-Rad. And speaking of another S tier,
dragon is really good.
Like, it's only super effective against itself, but they hit
aside
so
from
hard.
being unable to hit fairy types, aside from being able to hit fairy types and being strong against itself and ice, it's also another type like steel, where if you just have a pure dragon type, it's immune to almost every single type.
You mean resist, not
which
immune.
Is great.
Resist.
I keep saying immune. I mean resist.
And also, dragons get some of the most varied movesets out of every single Pokemon. Things like flamethrowers, thunderbolts, ice beams, shit like that. It's great.
Yeah.
Fighting is weak. Psychic, fairy, flying.
Psychic, fairy, and flying. That's
and Ghost is immune to it. But it's super effective against rock, steel, normal, dark, ice.
Yeah,
super
rock,
effective
steel,
against
normal,
a great deal
dark,
too.
And ice. Yeah, it's a great amount.
I'm gonna put it in A tier. It's pretty good. It's another great offensive typing.
I'd say if it's I'd say it's good on its own, but it's a lot better when it's dual type. But it can still hold its own if it's just a pure.
Fighting fairy type anyone?
Yes, we need that. Is there actually one?
Uh,
I want to say there is.
I feel like there is. I'm gonna look
We
it
need to look
up.
that up now. I feel like either Game Freak has made one or someone already has. In
I know
ROM
people
or
have made
fan
them in
game
fan
somewhere.
games, but I don't know if Game Freak's made one.
Fighting Fairy. I don't think so.
I know of a Steel Fairy.
I was gonna say I know Steel Fairy
Oh,
exists,
Iron Valiant.
Husky and
That's who.
Mawile. I
Iron
don't.
Valiant.
Okay, well that's the only one though. Before and like it's not even like a new mon technically. Like it's not like a brand new mon.
Yeah, it's the Gallade future form. Thanks, Beerad. Yeah,
Yeah.
but to be honest, Iron Valiant's a fucking beast because of that hyping too.
That's my point. Yeah, it literally helps with its like it still gets kind of fucked by poison, but it helps with its with Fairy's weakness of steel.
Yeah. Hello. Hope you're doing well, Bruce. Ghost types, A tier. They're just a better dark type. Two immunities.
It's the better dark type.
Two immunities, super effective against the same thing.
And resist. Honestly, wait. Actually, what does it resist? It resists poison.
I don't know what else off the top of my head.
Is that all it resists? I'm looking at everything. I think it
Maybe
only
bug.
resists poison. I want to say
Maybe bug.
bug, possibly. Yeah, maybe bug.
Hope you're doing well. Ice type, D tier. Only good offensively in terms of actual defense. Ice type's terrible. It's weak to almost everything.
There's some great ice type mons, but objectively, it's a bad typing. It's weak to almost everything. It only resists itself.
And it's only
It's
super
just not
effective
that
against
good.
like 3 types.
Wait.
Grass, flying, ground.
Yeah.
4. Dragon.
Grass, flying, ground. Those are the only 3.
4.
Yeah.
Dragon.
Or dragon, yeah. 4.
But
I was gonna say, ice is good against like OP things like dragon typing, but aside from that though, it's not that viable.
It's good offensively,
so
just terrible defensively, and most ice types.
I was gonna say it's good offense. Yeah, I would say it's only really good with dual typings. Pure, it's not that good.
Yeah, look at Avalon.
And it pains me to say that too because I fucking love Beartic so much, and then you have Avalon right there. Yeah, you have fucking coffee table.
Psychic, another S tier type. Only weak to 2 things. Super effective against fighting and poison, which
no. 3. Bug, dark, and ghost.
Oh, I forget bug exists. Okay, you almost never see it competitive.
Yeah. I was gonna say you don't see it, but it's still there. Bug, dark, and ghost is what it's weak to.
Yeah. But yeah, super effective against fighting, which again one of the best offensive typings, and poison, one of the things that counters fairy, so works really well there.
I would say it would be an A tier because of the fact that it can't hit dark types, but that's fair. I would say a low S tier at least.
Oh, it's definitely a low S tier. It's the last of the S tiers. Water type is A tier though. Only weak to grass and electric. Super effective against rock, ground, fire.
Ground, rock, and fire.
Yeah. So yeah, nice, easy
tier list. Actually, does it have any?
It has.
What resistance does it have? Fire, steel, and ice.
I was just say ice. I don't know if it resists itself.
Yeah, fire, steel, and ice. Well, yeah, most of them resist themselves, but I'm saying like other ones. They resist fire, steel, and ice. I know that.
Yeah. Either way, it's a fantastic steel type.
Yeah, honestly, not bad.
Because most steel types
and Vaporeon, and the Vaporeon especially shows how powerful those things can be, whether physically or specially, and can be pretty bulky. For Ralligator, Jellicent, and Vaporeon. Look at those 3 monsters to understand how great water types can be, and you know.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, overall, this is a nice little type tier list. I think it rounds out our stream pretty nicely. These are probably the most used competitive things.
Now, then?
It puts us at an hour and 4, which is what I wanted. So,
all right.
thank you all for coming out. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you guys for likes on the stream. Aiden's a bitch. Aiden, anything you want to say as I head offline?
JJ is the true bitch here.
Now we all know Aiden's the bitch and the